Hey everybody, Ben here. First and foremost, thanks for clicking on the video. And I did want to say thank you to everyone that liked and commented the past videos. Really do appreciate that. It's nice to have that reassurance. This is obviously all new to me. So I have noticed that the first message I put out after I do my normal word of the day, it kind of goes in line. And the word of the day was island, which we'll get into a little bit later here. So in the very beginning, I heard to start again, and I started to cross the two out. Like, I didn't want to go down that path. Was then taken, I was on a beach. I guess I'd almost kind of say it was probably like Hawaii. Uh, it's kind of this large, rock formation behind me, and to my left, almost like a cave like rock formation, but it was kind of like a dead end unless I went into the water and went around it. So I was completely, secluded. I was hidden, if you will. And the water was really deep blue, which I feel like that meant the water would have been deep there. Kind of put off a Hawaii vibe. I've never been there, so I can't really reference it much more than that. But it was very beautiful, and I was alone. And then what came through then? Oh, that I did have a feeling that it was beautiful, but I wanted someone to share it with. And then I got to a point of, I said, what happened? And I was taken, I saw somebody, it was, they were sitting down, holding their knees up against their chest, uh, going through a lot, very emotional, painful experience. There was a faint light there, lighting up this space. And, what really came through is someone really went through it, and they had to do it alone, whether they were alone or anyone they could talk to wouldn't get it, wouldn't understand. And one thing I do want to say on that is have this like analogy when someone might sympathize with you and say, "Oh, I went through the same thing," or and kind of buddy buddy type deal, but it's never gonna be the same because it was your experience. They might be able to say how things went, and it relates to your situation. 89 up to 89%, everything sounds exactly the same, but that other 11% is always yours. No one can change that. No one can relate to that because it's so personal to us. You know, no one can one up it because it's your experience, it's your pain, it's what you went through. And maybe we want someone to sympathize with us, or have like the same scenario so they understand it better. But we'll never get that full understanding from anyone because it is ours and it's very personal to us. You know, these situations affect our wounds differently. If it triggered a wound, that person may have the same wound, but the reason the wound appeared wasn't the same reason. Our experiences are very personal to us, and that might make it very difficult for us to, you know, seek external. I don't want to use the word validation, but uh, understanding of what we went through. It's very difficult, and maybe that's why a lot of people never have that moving forward experience because, well, number one, doing it alone is very painful and difficult, but also the idea of having someone to understand what to give us help or guidance is difficult to find. uh, After that I said why, and it was could be happier. So my word of the day was island. And what I got into that was, due to a situation, we may come to a place where we completely remove people, places, or things from our life. We isolate from them. We put ourselves on an island to remove that. And during that time, we obviously build walls, boundaries, however you want to look at it. And that experience is very important to the extent that we are, revisiting what took place. We're learning about ourselves. We're finding what we do and we don't like, what we do want to experience, what we don't want to put up with, a lot of these things. And we also come to a place where we need to take a little bit of accountability in situations that say, hey, I involved myself in this, or I chose to put myself, in this position and this took place. As well as we may look at others and say, okay, well, they did this or that. We experienced a lot during that. Well, I hope so anyway. And from there, say we've healed, we've moved on, we've learned a lot about ourselves. We probably became a lot more authentically ourselves. Not in a way that, you guys do whatever you want, but, cutting all your hair off and changing your look and, just going crazy. Uh, we've come back to just us. We found ourselves again. So a lot of times we've given up ourselves for another individual or a situation to feel safe, or we were working out of a wound, or however it looked, and coming back to our full self. And now we're okay. We're alone. We're fine. We have come to a place that we're comfortable alone, but now we want something more, which is part of life. That's the whole point. We come here, we create. If we just did the same thing every day, it's monotonous, it's boring. So we want to change, whatever that change may look like. We want to introduce something new. But we built those walls, and nothing can come in with those walls built. And we're uninterested in taking the walls down because we have peace now. We have this safe space. But we want something more, and that's not going to be possible unless we allow it to. But maybe we won't let our walls down because of the past. And we think the past is going to be the present, which it will if we inevitably create it. But during this process of being on the island, we had a chance to learn a lot, to say, okay, I don't want to repeat this cycle anymore, so I'm not going to. And by doing so, we can see what is there and be like, oh, that's a red flag. I don't want to do this again. But we could also look at it in a vibrational sense, that we have evolved so much that that situation in the past can't even come in anymore because we're above that vibrationally, and I would think that we're above then wanting to deal with it as well. We got, I think I got 5 cards here. And I think the moral of the story is, we want something more, but we're afraid. We're afraid that it's going to put us back into that pain. But we have to have the trust in ourselves that we have healed and evolved enough that we want to experience this, and we can trust ourselves not to experience the negative aspect that we did in the past again. So our first card was the Star reversed, lack of faith. This could be within ourselves or the universe, God, source, whatever you want to look at it. It's almost like a why bother situation. What's the point? I'm content right now. Relationships just end. Why would I waste my time? They're all assholes. They're going to do this or that. Going in with that mindset, we can create that. We really can. We are co-creators here. Everybody sees manifestation as good things. We can do it badly as well. And that's where you can really look at your strength as a manifester, as your ability to manifest. If pay attention to our thoughts. If you see that we're dwelling on negative situations and then it happens, see, I knew it. I knew it was going to happen. And we fucking created it. Like, coming from a place that I had really bad anxiety. I mean, sure, it still exists, but not like it did. And it was all based out of fear, of course. Fear of something happening. Or what's the other one? I don't want to say claustrophobic, but being like stuck somewhere. Like not being able to escape. And that you could create that. Like, obviously, we just want to turn that stuff off when it's happening, but we're putting so much energy into it that you can inevitably create the outcome. So that's like the best proof that, wow, I am really powerful, but I'm putting all this energy in the wrong place. So let me try to learn how to change that and put it into something good that I want for myself instead of like a negative outcome that I don't want to experience. Our next card was 9 of Wands reversed. Overly defensive, stubborn. We're vulnerable. We see ourselves as vulnerable prey. And we have these walls. So anything that comes in, we think it's to attack us. We view everything as an attack. It's trying to infiltrate me. It's trying to use me, abuse me, hurt me, however we want to look at it. And we don't want anything to come in, but I think we do. And this wall is so big that nothing can pass through it. So that also puts off this image of we're unavailable, we're unwilling to even what's the word? That's not the word, but flirt with the idea of interacting, to dream a little. We're just closed off to it all. Next card, Two of Cups reversed. This probably came from an unhealthy relationship, one-way relationship, conflict of some sort. Again, everybody's situation is different and they all hurt. I've said before that butterfly feeling of excitement and love in the beginning, it hurts the same place when it ends. It just feels a lot different. Who wants to go through that? No one, of course. But what came to me the other day, this is totally off track, but I think it's a great thing to hear, is how do you even get to a place to experience gratitude? Through lack or loss. When we have everything, just think of if we're living in a place that we have all these basic necessities, running water, all that kind of stuff. We take it for granted. Electricity, we really do. And we could take that one day and say, oh yeah, I'm really thankful for this. But it doesn't matter until you don't have it. You don't know what it feels like to not have it. Sure, the power goes out from time to time and it's a pain in the butt. Or the internet, we can't do this or that. It's the end of the world. No, it's really not. But until you don't have a place to take a shower, or the money to buy food, those situations give us the ability to actually have gratitude. And when we get to a place again when we can experience these basic things that a lot of people do have that are taken for granted, we are so thankful for that, in a way that, hey, I was there before that I didn't have this, and now I do. And every time I reach for that hot water, it is a blessing. Looking at the relationship aspect, like we were talking, we had that chance to feel that butterflies and that excitement and love. And maybe it wasn't reciprocal. And then we also had that experience to lose it, or to feel completely betrayed and destroyed inside. We wouldn't know what that felt like if we didn't go through it. I'm not saying what was done is fair or didn't hurt us, which clearly it did. But think about never having that experience. Would you trade it? Would you trade that feeling of all that butterflies and excitement to never have had that? Some people say, I don't know what it is to be in love. I don't know what it is to give all of myself to something, to try to show how much I truly do care about you and how much you mean to me. And when we're looking at this wall that's built, do we want that again? I think we do. But we're looking at an outcome that happened, and we don't want to experience that. So I think that's what's holding it back, which would make sense. That's logical. But what does the heart want? The heart probably wants to be loved and give love. I think that's inevitable for everyone, but we've all built walls because society is society and everyone's out for something more. That is the mindset, but not everybody. And since we spent time on the island and we have healed and came to a place, we can see ourselves on a different vibration and say, you know what, if somebody is going to come in, or if I want somebody to come in, they're going to be on the same frequency, which they are. That's how it works. No matter if we think we healed or not, we're going to meet someone that's going to replicate or mirror our place. We do have two more cards, but the last card does show a possibility that we haven't fully healed yet. But I don't foresee it that way. It's just a side note. Next card is Two of Swords, inner conflict. Obviously, this is battle between the head or the heart. The way I'm portraying this is that the heart wants to love It got hurt. We closed it off. Our head says, absolutely not. Excuse me. Been through this song and dance before. I don't want to do this again. But I do. I'm afraid, which is natural. Last card. Two of Pentacles reversed. Instability. Overwhelmed. When I said that this could be a possibility that we haven't healed yet, is we haven't gone on the island yet. We haven't wanted to look at it. And we are, I don't know, serial dating. You're trying to fill a void that can't be filled because we haven't healed. And we're going out there and they're just like reacting. They're like showing a red flag, but it's not really a red flag. And we're just like, oh, nope, no thank you. You're bad news. You know, our wall is so built that we haven't taken the time to trust ourselves during this healing process, or we haven't really paid any attention to healing at all. And we're trying to fill something, this void that we feel, but we're so closed off to everything and viewing everything as an attack. I think I said that before in somewhere that everything coming in, you know, is viewed as an attack. We're not trusting our own discernment, and we just think everyone's out here to take us back to that painful place. I kind of do feel like I was all over there, all over the place, but there's a lot of good stuff in all of that message, however we want to look at it. At the end of the day, you know, we built those walls for a reason, to give us time to observe and think about everything that took place, coming back to a place that we are centered and whole. We know who we are, and we learned a lot. I know those old situations weren't healthy and they hurt us, and they created pain and trauma in a lot of different ways. But they also taught us that, okay, this person does that, and maybe I had a people-pleasing wound, or they were using all my emotions against me to get what they wanted, or they cheated on me, and you know, all these different things. Stole. I don't know what happens in these relationships these days. But where was I going there? All these things that happen, they took us to where we are now. And if we actually did go on that island and did go to heal, and actually did heal, and we don't have to heal 100%. I'm just saying that we came to a realization of a lot of things, and we can see now, and we're on this different vibration. And those types of people can't come back into that space unless we go down in vibration. And by going down as being inauthentic, you know, we're going against what we are to fulfill a void. I guess you could call that settling. But I think I'll leave it there. Sorry I was all over the place. Again, thank you for all those that liked and commented on my previous videos. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. I know not a lot of people like these relationship readings. Maybe that's why I went to go cross it out in the very beginning, because I already felt what it was going to be. But, you know, you don't have to hate relationships. We don't have to hate people because one or three people hurt us. That's them. It taught us something. And I think whether we wrote off, you know, if I wrote off women, or you're a woman and you wrote off men, or, you know, however you look at it, I think inside internally we would still want it no matter what. You just don't want the bull crap. That's all there is to it. You want to be loved, and you want to give love. It's in our nature. You know, I'm not saying that we should all be in a relationship. Obviously, I'm not. That's not what I'm saying. It's just we want to give love, and whatever that may look like. And we're going to fulfill it with something. If you wrote off everything, do you have pets? Like, you're fulfilling it with something. And it's this need to give love and receive love is a natural human experience. So we can say the hell with relationships, but we're still finding something to love, some which way. Anyway, have a great day, guys. Thank you.